saw this article on FordAuthority.com, and they were talking about all the different things that they are expecting from Ford Motor Company in 2024. And that really got me thinking, what does the Ford Motor Company actually have in store for us in this year? Well, I'm going to go over every single confirmed update as well as a breakdown of all of those rumors that are out there. What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts with TC Customs, and I am so excited to bring this breakdown to you. The first thing I want to do is talk about a vehicle that Ford just released, and that's the new Ford Explorer. If you haven't already seen, we've got a full dedicated video that goes over all of the updates and the changes, as well as every option on that particular trim level. You can click up on that link if you want to watch that detailed video. But one of the cars that I am so excited about, the most excited about, is the new Mustang GTD. This is the $300,000 Mustang that is a collaboration between Ford Motor Company and Multimatic, which is the company that built our Ford GT. So they're going to be building those in extremely limited quantities, and Ford, hit your boy up because we would love to have one of those and don't mind not selling it for a long period of time, just like we did on our Ford GT. We still have not sold that and flipped it for a profit. But anyways, that's going to be a really cool car. Almost the entire thing's made out of carbon fiber. It's got a front engine, rear transaxle. Basically, this thing is supposed to be a 911 GT3 RS slayer. I mean, it's absolutely going to kill it just because of the high level of horsepower and things like that. The next vehicle I want to talk about is the F-150. Now, everybody's seen the 2024 F-150's got an update on the front end, the rear end, the technology, that kind of stuff. But did you know that the 24 F-150 apparently has a completely different electrical architecture that's driving this vehicle? So it's not just like a simple refresh. It actually is a substantial update on this vehicle that should help us with things like over-the-air updates. But that's not why I'm bringing that up in this video. The reason I'm bringing up is because, you know, our F-150 sleeper promotion that we put out there has been wildly successful. In fact, so successful that we've had to take the option for ordering new versions of this off the table. We've actually had to come out right and say that we are completely sold out for the 24 model year. And so with that popularity, it got me thinking, could Ford be doing something like this? You know, could they be coming out with a next generation of the F-150 Lightning, not the EV, but the actual internal combustion engine? You know, I know one of the most popular programs Ford has ever come out with in Mexico is the Lobo, which is the Spanish word for wolf. Maybe they'll come out with a Lightning or a Lobo of some sort. I think that would be a pretty cool setup. But if they don't do that, the one thing, and they're still, you know, Ford is trying to focus on electrification of the vehicles, and we can argue all day long whether or not the Lightning, the electrified version of the Lightning is going to be the future or not. But one thing that I would argue is going to be a part of our future are things like the plug-in hybrid. So I think it'd be cool if Ford Motor Company gave us a plug-in hybrid with this new generation of the F-150. They've got the new updated, you know, electrical architecture. Maybe this is the right time. But what are the benefits of like a plug-in hybrid compared to an EV? Well, the beautiful thing about a plug-in hybrid, like the Escape, you can drive 37 miles on a single charge. But that's okay because that's what most people do in an entire commute in their normal daily drive. But if you run out of range, you don't have to stop at one of these level 3 fast chargers. The car just automatically switches over to gasoline and you can keep moving on. There's plenty of stories of these peoples. There's plenty of stories of these people that are driving these plug-in hybrid Escapes that are getting like 1,300 miles for one tank of fuel. And the fuel tank's like 11 gallons. It's tiny, right? So I think that'll be a big part of our future, and I think it'd be awesome if Ford Motor Company gave us something like that. But if they don't, and they're going to stick true to their new F-150 Lightning, you know, there is apparently a brand new version of the Lightning on the horizon. Now, I don't know if we're going to see this next generation in 2024 because Ford's kind of pushed back their EV plans just a little bit instead of being so aggressive. But I do think that we're under some good leadership when it comes to Jim Farley. He's probably never going to see this video, but if he does, you know, either way. I've had a chance to meet him a couple times. He's a great person, and I really think that he is the best leader that Ford has had since Alan Mulally saved Ford Motor Company in the crash of 2008. That's just my personal opinion. Some people probably hate him. Some people love him. I personally think he's a fantastic leader. And I'm not saying that to kiss up to him because he's probably never going to see this video. But anyways, what I do think is I've watched a couple of different things and what he thinks about this next generation of the Lightning. And I want to read this quote to you. During an earnings call with investors, Jim Farley actually said this, and you should see the Gen 2 and Gen 3 EVs we're working on. Our Gen 2 all-new full-size pickup truck, for example, is one of the most thrilling vehicles I have ever seen in my career. Let me be specific. Stunning performance, like no other truck has performed. Ability, unexpected innovation for truck customers, far beyond the normal truck attributes. A super flexible cabin that feels just like a lounge or a tiny office that takes the wheels off this truck, and it still is a mind-blowing product. And a digital experience that totally is immersive and personalized. I'd take this truck 7 days of the week over a Cybertruck. I think that pretty much explains to you where I'm thinking Ford's future is. Now, you might be thinking, I hate EVs, and that's okay. We're all, you can think that if you want to, but I personally think that it's just a different fuel to get a different type of a job done. No, you're not going to be able to tow as far. It's got its pluses, it's got its negatives. But one thing is for sure, the technology that Ford Motor Company puts into EVs can also trickle into ICE vehicles. And vice versa. ICE technology can go into the EVs, just making all of the products better, because that's Ford's game plan from the start, is to have a gas, a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and an EV option for every vehicle that they sell. Now, let's talk about the next thing that I expect Ford Motor Company to do, and this is kind of big, and it's also kind of scary a little bit at the same time. Y'all know I'm not like a fear monger or anything like that. I'm believing, spreading a bunch of negativity. But there's no doubt that the market is shifting. We're in the middle of an election year. We've also got interest rates are high. So I think Ford Motor Company, as well as GM and as well as Stellantis, by the way, that's Ram if you didn't know, because I know they change their ownership every couple of years. Dig? I think so. But anyway, all of these major manufacturers are going to have to come out with some seriously better incentives. But it's kind of like, how much better can it really get? Because I know right now on the F-150, we've got 1.9% financing for 72 months. So what is the next version of this? I don't know, maybe it's like 0% for 72 months or 84 months. Although I don't think that that's necessarily good for the customer. It does get some trucks and some vehicles sold. So I don't think we need to get back into the days of big old hairy rebates, because that also jacks up some valuations pretty quickly when you go to sell your vehicle later on. But at the end of the day, we have to find a way to make these vehicles more affordable, and the special interest rates are going to be the easiest and quickest way to do that, even though it might be the most expensive way for the motor company to provide those incentives. So let's talk about the new Expedition and what you can expect there. The current generation Expedition has actually been around for quite some time. And when they came out with that Expedition, they said, hey, we're moving it to the F-150 platform, so that way we can give you guys some more updates and more frequently update the vehicle. It doesn't cost nearly as much since it's on the F-150 platform. So with that being said, I'm expecting a completely different front end, rear end, some technology updates, maybe similar to how they did the F-150. I mean, they just came out with this new F-150 24. I think it kind of makes sense to do the Expedition right after that, since they're on the same platform. So the other thing is that the UAW strikes that went on just recently, when they were doing those negotiations, they actually showed up with the UAW contracts that there's probably even going to be a hybrid version of the Expedition coming out very, very soon as well. Better fuel economy. Hopefully it'll give you the opportunity to do the Pro Power on board. You can power your house maybe. So there's some really good benefits to the hybrid technology that's out there. Now let's talk about the Bronco Sport. There's been a couple of different vehicles that you can see that are riding around the streets that looks like it's got it's a Badlands version of the Bronco Sport, but maybe bigger tires. Maybe it's a beefed up Badlands, or maybe it's a different Sasquatch for the Bronco Sport. That would make sense. Or maybe even a Raptor version of the Bronco Sport. That'd be kind of wild. But I do think you're going to see an updated Bronco Sport, and hopefully a bigger tired Bronco Sport, because it just looks better. Everything looks better with bigger tires, I think. Anyways, the other thing is you might even expect a hybrid version of the Bronco Sport. I think that would be kind of, this is starting to sound like I'm a massive hybrid fan, and I'm not, I swear. I just think that that's better than going electrification, straight up EVs. Let's move on to its sister, the Bronco Sport, which is the Maverick. If y'all didn't know, the Bronco Sport and the Maverick, they are built on the same platform. And so it kind of makes sense that, you know, they've already got a hybrid Maverick. Why couldn't they make a hybrid Bronco Sport? Same platform, right? So if that's the case, why couldn't they come out with like a hybrid all-wheel drive Maverick? If they're going to spend the money on doing it for the Bronco Sport, might as well bring it into the Maverick as well. The other thing about the Maverick is, and I saw this a couple of years ago at the SEMA show, they had a Ford Motor Company had a slammed Maverick. I think that would be kind of cool. You know, going back to these street trucks, the F-150 sleeper deal that we had on the F-150s, could they do the same thing? Maybe we talked about the Lobo F-150. Maybe there's going to be a Lobo Maverick or something like that. I don't know what you'd call it, but having a street truck Maverick would be kind of cool. Now let's talk about the Mustang. So Ford just came out with their California Special Mustang. And y'all know how I am. I like to shoot straight no matter what is going on. I'll tell you my honest opinions. The California Special looks cool except for the colorations. The weird blue on some colors does not look right. It looks just wonky in my opinion. However, I do think that there's going to be a 60th anniversary special edition Mustang that you can expect for this model year that should be absolutely beautiful. I mean, think about it. It's been exactly 60 years since Ford Motor Company has debuted the Mustang at the 1964 World's Fair. So it's only fitting that Ford comes out with a 60th anniversary Mustang, and I cannot wait to see what that thing looks like. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.